All right, guys, new year is coming and I have my new boat. Well, not my tour boat for the year, but there's a lot of new changes that have happened since I last dropped the video on the channel. If you have watched it all on my Instagram or my Facebook, I announced a new partnership, but I wanted to show you. So last year I did a poll on Instagram and Facebook on a voting poll to vote for the color of the boat you want me to run. So this year I ran a gray and orange boat because that was a gray and orange Ikon VLX 21, and that was the one that was voted on the most, of course. But second most was the color option that I have right behind me, and it is, I would say, black and khaki. It is absolutely sick. I like it. I think it's super unique. I just think it's super unique and it looks great. I have already had one comment on the lake. Nick and I were out there on the lake the other day. Somebody rolls up, he's like, "That's the sickest boat I've ever seen." And like rolled off. I'm like, heck yeah. So obviously it's different, and this is a different hull. So this is a Ikon VLX 20 foot, and this boat is a little bit smaller, of course, than my 21. But we're gonna walk through him a little bit. A lot of the same things, the VLX, and then you have, of course, the VLX, and you have the LX. LX is like your luxury top of the line boat that we have inside Ikon. And the VLX is just the step down, so just a little bit different profile. Still unbelievable, but just in its own different way, you know? Has a little bit, and we'll walk through a little bit of the difference as you get inside the cockpit of the boat. But just let's sort of walk through the biggest thing on this boat is the motor. So let's slide back and talk about the Suzuki that's hanging on the back of this thing. And that is a badass looking motor. That is a Suzuki Stealth. It is a 250 4-stroke. And this guy has been unbelievable. It's been a lot of fun riding him around. Obviously had to keep him super under wraps. Been running for the last couple months, just playing around with it on this boat. It's been a lot of fun just figuring it out. Of course, like anything else, there's little things that are little tweaks and little differences. Getting in the motor, taking off, that mid-range torque was insane. Fuel economy was phenomenal. A lot of great things about this motor, but I talked about this in some of my videos when I posted that I was working with Suzuki. And to be honest with you all, I had an opportunity to go down to visit with Suzuki and talk about what their mindset was for the future and where they were at and what they wanted to do. And it's just, that whole team really feels like family to me. They had a great game plan. They're hungry, they're excited, and it's fun to be a part of a team that in that mindset, they just are constantly thinking about how can we do more, how can we support this industry. Really cool to be a part of that team, to join the likes of my buddy Adrian Avina and of course Dean Rojas and several other great pros. I think they have 15 pros on the pro staff, 14, something like that, and the teens on the Bass Elite side and on the BBT side. So it's completely different sides of the spectrum, but that one thing that you notice when you talk to dealers, and I listened, of course, before making the decision, I made sure to make several calls that, hey, what's your thoughts? What's up with this? What's up with that? From my saltwater buddies to my freshwater buddies, hearing everything about it, the good, the bad, and everybody consistently just said the one word that stayed the same was dependability. They said, you know, I was at a dealer the other day and they said, this is one of the only motors I've ever seen that consistently comes in and gets maintenance work, and it's in the thousands of hours. And I'm like, that's saying something. So it's great to be part of the team, but there's a lot more to come, and we'll keep you guys in depth and tell you more behind the scenes stuff as that comes up. But this motor obviously looks great. Who does not like that matte gray look? It looks great. And this is the electronic shifter. Actually, I put the electronic shifter in this one, so it's easier. It's more plug and play. It's just electric. It's not much different or anything. It just basically makes it where it's easier to plug, play, put your hot foot in, and you don't have all the cables and stuff. So nice to have that as well in this boat. But anyway, so that is awesome. Of course, you can't go anywhere with the 10-foot blades. A matte black, trying to match the motor as well. Power pole always makes. I mean, they've made the best shallow water anchor. They came up with it. I mean, what do you say? And I really like that matching it up as well. I really like the one pump as well. So one pump new is actually, let me see if I might be able to show you guys that. So obviously, if you have, fortunately I run an Ikon, so I have a lot of room. but if you do not have a lot of room, a lot of boats do not have a ton of room. And this one pump saves a lot of people where they can put more batteries in their boat. They can do a lot of different things. So that's worked really well. I ran this all last year, my last year's boat. It's been flawless and unbelievable. So highly recommend that. You just don't have, you have two things to go wrong, right? You have one thing to focus on, make sure you have oil in it, make sure everything's good to go, hydraulic fluid or whatever, you're ready to roll. Now, also on this side, you guys see those Millertech batteries. These guys are two 36 volt, 60 amp hour Millertechs, and there's a lot of different battery companies out there on the market. I will go to the grave saying that Millertech has the best customer service of anyone out there. When you're spending, a premium amount of money on a battery, you want, when things go wrong, because it's gonna happen someday, there's gonna be questions, there's gonna be something coming, it's electronics, it's part of it. Like there's things that are gonna happen, whether it's a boat, whether it's a motor, whether it's a truck. Customer service is everything, and that whole crew there, Roman, Lester, they're truly, again, focused on the customer. And we had a Millertech bank battle tournament just like a month and a half ago, and it was a bank battle. Had nothing to do with the batteries. They just wanted to create some fun content that had nothing to do with the batteries and just give back. They're just a really cool company as well. Just again, in life, you learn it's all about relationships, and it's all about having fun. And the people that you work with day in and day out have a direct correlation to that, right? And so you want to work with fun people, you want to work with great people, and then typically, I'm very fortunate to say all the companies that I work with, I get to have a lot of fun, and they're pretty awesome people. So that being said, with the Millertechs, I do have that set up there. On the opposite side, I do recommend those as well, absolutely. I like the 36 volt personally. So I will tell you a little bit of battery setup system. I ran 300 amp hour 12 volts, which is 100 amp hours of 36 volt system when you connect it all. These are two 60 amp hour batteries, put them together, run them in parallel. Now that's 120 amp hours. So I have 120 amp hours of power at that 36 volt rate. Hopefully I did not mess that up, Roman. I apologize if I did. Now that's what it is. And then in my tour boat, I have a backup 60 amp hour battery that I put right here, and it has a quick disconnect. Now that is, if you're looking for the great system of power, and not putting so much weight in the back of your boat, that's a great option. So if you're fishing Toyotas or Opens or fishing higher level tournaments, or you just want more power in your boat, the ultimate setup is the boat setup that I have in my tour boat. But I don't run the batteries as hard in this boat, because this will be a boat that I keep unwrapped, ready to go at all times, and I won't go as hard in this boat day in and day out. It's more of I'm not gonna say leisure boat, because I'm not very leisurely when I go bass fishing, if you know what I'm saying. It's more of the fun aspect. I might be sleeping in, I might hit that alarm clock a couple more times. I might not be going 14 hours. It might be daylight to dark. It might be like 2 hours after daylight to dark, you know what I'm saying? So you just have a little less time, have to worry about it, chill. Let's slide the other side real quick here. And the other thing that I do want to mention, I have to say a huge thank you to my boys at Weedas Marine. They rig all my boats. They've rigged all this stuff up, and I get them on some crazy projects from time to time. Jesse, Steve, of course, you guys know what's up. Nico, Sean there at Weedas Marine has been a friend of mine for since I've been fishing BFLs. We were actually nemesis for a long time. Now we're semi-friend. No, we're really good buddies. So that being said, they always look out. If you guys are in the boat market, check them out. They're up there around that Cincinnati, just south Cincinnati, Kentucky area, closer to my house. So on this side, if I missed anybody, you guys all know Colton, Richie. You guys all know who y'all are. You guys are great. Appreciate all the work you guys do. So that being said, I got to talk a little bit about the battery system on this side. This is the Millertech 12 volts, 135 amp hours, so 270 amp hours of 12 volt batteries. This is the setup that I run in my tour boat, have ran in my tour boat. Now I do swap out sometimes with a 16 volt. Millertech came out with a 16 volt. Been playing around with that recently, getting more voltage on your or more on your box specifically. But this has been the setup that I run. I run it in parallel. It's all good. I run the Millertech charger. He's all ready to roll. I've been playing around, just tinkering. You always got, I can't show you the charger because I got one that I don't think it's out yet. Millertech sent me. The cool thing about this setup, another thing that's really important about it, is having a good app with it. So the Millertech app actually shows you if you have your voltage is right, as your batteries are charged up. It's Bluetooth, so I can Bluetooth all these batteries, find out, okay, boom, I'm connected to all these 212 volts and those 236 volts, and I can see 100%, okay, my charger tells me to charge, but then I also can look in the app and say, okay, boom. Actually, let me see if I can grab that real quick. Okay, let me go to MillerTech real quick here. So I'm pulling up the MillerTech app right now. And so we're gonna connect to these batteries. I'm gonna show you exactly what it looks like. Connect, connect, connect. And I'll name these batteries as I end up going on. Since I had it new, I don't have them all connected. So now I go to my dashboard. And so all of my batteries are in my little queue, basically. So I go to that dashboard, and now I'm looking down through there, 14.2, 14.2, 40.9. I can look at all that 100%. Everybody's all charged up, ready to roll. That's what you want to see. That's exactly, it shows you your amp hours you have left. It shows you all that stuff. So that's always peace of mind, having 2 points of contact, knowing that your batteries are charged via app and also your charger is good to go. So check out the MillerTech. If you have MillerTech, make sure you're downloading the app and knowing that. And the cool thing about this too is, like, even Roman, the whole crew at MillerTech, if it's during the week in some ways, like, and you're stuck out there in the water and you didn't charge your batteries or you didn't get a good full charge, sometimes those guys can call up and and actually connect to your battery and do some stuff. And, like, I don't know, it's some definite magic to make it work a little bit longer, maybe to get you through the day. So I've had that happen one time. Not saying it happens all the time, but there's some times when a breaker trips and all of a sudden you don't have full power, right? So that's cool. Anyway, great crew, great group there. That is the back end. I also do have to actually mention how open it is back here in the Ikon, and in the same way in the LX is the VLX. Very open, a lot of stuff. You can get to everything you are. You have all my stuff. So you my Bob's Machine Shop jack plate. I have the action jack plate right there on the back as well. She's fully set up. You got to have that if you're running shallow water, trying to get the performance out of your boat, all that stuff. It doesn't even matter if it's shallow, but it helps you get more speed, helps you run better in a little bit, you know, in some chop and stuff like that. But also, if there is any issues with pumps, you're able to sort of easily access that and get in there and get your stuff and replace stuff. Because again, accessibility is everything when it comes down to things. Again, everybody understands that things happen out there in the water, and when you have accessibility to all of your stuff, you're able to, like, troubleshoot that and figure out the problem that much easier and typically resolve that problem faster. So that's really the mindset behind this boat, and then a lot of that in the VLX and obviously the LX as well. So that's cool. That's awesome. I want to show you guys that. Let's slide. We'll talk a little bit more about the cockpit when we get in the water. We're going to jump in the water here. A little bit different, some digital switches and some things on the console on this one. When you get up here on the front deck, a little bit different kind. It's the same overall Ikon, still tons of beam length over, like, it's a big giant deck. It does not feel like a 20-footer to me. It feels more so like a lot of boats. It's not narrow towards the front. It still feels solid, nice size. So, all right, the one thing that I don't talk about enough and is amazing, Nick can probably attest to this. As the years have gone on and we've added more grass to the fronts of our boats, a lot of times when you're getting your buddy on the dock, the most annoying thing is trying to get around these big, giant, clunky grass, right? Well, right here, hopping in, it makes it so easy and accessible to get in the boat. Or if I'm like right here, in this general, like I'm pop up, I walk in, boom. I'm not stepping around the grass, I'm right there. So that is really nice. Adds a little bit of room where you wouldn't necessarily always think you need it, but there's times when you're, like, thankful you have it. And also when you're, like, sight fishing, step up here on the front deck, I power pull down, I'm watching, I might step up here to the front of the boat and look around. I get a little bit closer to that fish. I step back, it gives me a little bit more accessibility to see what's going on. All right, so as far as this year goes, we're running a 16 HDS Pro on the front, a 12 Pro on the bottom. I went with Lowrance on the front of the boat exclusively. Just, there's times I'm really big on a 16-inch unit. I don't know if I could go. I try to sometimes go with one unit up here, but it's just so nice to have that second one. And especially because I'm running 2 active targets. When you come around this side, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm running 2, if I was running just one single active target, it'd be different, but I am running 2 active target units or transducers on my trolling motor. One, of course, in your forward mode, and then one in Scout. And so I have Scout right here. These right here are the Fish Obsessed mounts that I've been running, and then just sort of keeping it where I can, with a 45-inch Ultrex is what I've been running, and it works well. So I've not tweaked everything out. I haven't updated all my graphs completely yet. But the Ultrex, I mean, you can't go wrong with an Ultrex. The Quest has been bulletproof so far. I've not had any issues since I've been running that trolling motor. Just a good overall solid trolling motor. And then, and then of course the trailer, the wheels package, we have insertable. You can color match as the guys did here. I might swap those to black. I might keep them.
Let them know in the comments. Let the comments.
Yeah, let me know. Look, I'm more on swapping them to black, but it is cool to color match. So you can color match, like, cause I want to accent this black bolt. But Nick's saying those things are pretty sick, which they are, because you can color match your actual inserts for your wheels. So those are pretty cool. I'm not hating on them, I'm just saying.
It would definitely look clean with black, for sure.
Black would look cool, or do I keep them the same way? Drop a comment below, let me know. I want to hear it. But overall, I just love the look of the boat. It is so unique, it's so different. The motor freaking sets it off. But let's just do this, okay? We talked a little bit about the overall boat. I can tell you the last thing. Gas tank. All right, that's really the last thing we got. So let's just go ahead and head to the water. What do you think?
For sure.
Let's just go ahead to the water. Let's head to the water. I got this thing fully rigged out. I got all my stuff in here. Let's see what this boat can do. Okay, so we're officially on the water now. Time to start that bad boy up. All right, this is the deal. I just started off with the graphs, because we sort of ended on the graphs up there. Well, we ended up with the gas cap. The graphs that I'm running on the back here is I have an HDS 16 Pro. The cool thing I love about these Lowrance units, already internally inside of them, they have the C maps, and especially on Tennessee River, you guys can see, you can just see like how in-depth the mapping is. Really nice. So also I put the Humminbird Explorer on there, and they also have the pre-downloaded maps internally in these units. So that was a really cool, nice thing that I saw that they've done personally. I don't know if they have it all over the country as well. So again, not all the maps out there are the same. There's sometimes that C map's way better than Humminbird, Lake Master, and there's sometimes that Lake Master is better than C map. So it just depends on the lake, but especially for traveling all over the country, which I will not be doing in this boat, it would make it nice, right? So anyway, we're gonna idle out a little ways. One thing that you're also gonna see as well is from the console perspective, a little bit different. Still, of course, you can change your tilt steering, which is nice on the Ikon and that VLX. And then the quick, this is not electric, this is not an electronic pad, so everything's not run through the system like you guys see me using on the LX. Over here, this is just sort of an additional screen that gives me like the information and all that, but then you have your quick dial pad. So of course your fish IV, your live wells, your recirc, your pump out, your bilge, horn works just fine. You do have a blower in there. So this is a blower system that blows through your boat when you get your boat real wet and stuff like that from a day on the water. Just helps dry it out. Your lights, your accessory switch, your box lights, and your nav lights. So one thing that I always have Weedas and the crew of Weedas Marine put on is that RMP light in the back. I just can't stand having to go and reach in my box and grab like a nav light. Like that way, because we already have the red and greens up front, already ready to roll. You don't have to put those in your boat, they're already ready to roll. So this way, this guy's up there, he's done. You push this button, you ain't got to worry about it. It's done, right? It's all good to go. So that's good to go. We're going to take off and run in some shade a little bit. It's a little sunny out here. Somehow I forgot my shades. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and, well, actually, we're in some shade right here. We actually aren't bad off, but it's actually not too bad. You know what? Let's just go ahead and stop right here and talk a little bit about the console, talked about the graphs, center box right here. If you guys have seen the VLX, very similar, a little bit less depth. I have a hodgepodge of baits in there. Just this stuff's actually really good. It's expensive as heck, the Shiseido. Don't tell your wife. If you're looking to surprise your wife and get her some nice sunscreen, get her some of this. It's not cheap, but it does feel good. It's like a nice feeling. Lock it in place right there. Good to go. Live well is very similar to the L2 live well system as well. Ready to roll. Actually put some bass in there the other night with the kids. They love putting bass in a live well and letting them go. So put those guys right there. Ready to roll. Of course, life jacket storage system. You have a lot of your connections from the whole system. I have some extra line in there. Life jackets, throwable device. Nothing too crazy, just storage. I got some fishing tackle on this side as well. He's ready to roll. And then you got your old beep handles right here for your co-angler. And this one's probably, this is more for your guy, your third guy in the center, right? The third guy. This is not functionality wise for your driver because he's got the steering wheel, but this is for your guy in the center. He's got to have something to hold on to. He's got it right there. So you're good to go. Moving sort of up here towards the front of the boat. Well, we'll just start here around the cooler. Cooler, still solid. You know, the insulated, ready to rock. He's a bad dude. I heard a bass blow up on some bait. Gosh, dog it. A little bit different system inside of the tackle storage and center box. Has more of a, it is sort of like a rotating deal as well. I got all my Crush City stuff and other plastics, all the plastics I have, ready to roll. And then down below, I have a lot of my tackle down sort of in the center. So it's a real nice, clean system, ready to rock. And I do like it. It definitely is clean. I probably can't fit as much tackle in it as I can, of course, in the VLX or in the LX itself, but I can. That is ready to roll. Center here, of course, you have your pliers, your crossover pliers, your all that good stuff, and it's nice to have that measuring board. This is Hudson's favorite thing in the world. He likes to measure the fish, so he always is down here. He's like, let's measure it. Even if it's 12 inches, he's measuring it, and if it's 50 pounds, he's measuring it. Which we don't catch any 50 pounders around here, but that is something. I will also go ahead and show you guys. I think I have 26 rods in there right now. I think you can put like upwards of 30, of course. I have hodgepodge, some frogs, some top water, some chatterbaits, flipping sticks, just sort of hodgepodge, swim bait, little small finesse swim bait, glide bait, just caught hodgepodge. It does fit everything fairly well. I'm ready to rock. So that guy's good to go. And then over here, I really don't have too awful much in here. Just sort of here's where I mount both of my active target 2 boxes. I do recommend that when you mount those boxes, make sure that they're ready to roll and they're on that side. It's easy access, ready to roll. So nothing too awful crazy, nothing too different necessarily with this, but you're gonna see the biggest difference between like the LX and the VLX is a lot of the automated systems that we have in the LX. You don't get that luxury in the VLX. So this is more of like, I would not say it's nuts and bolts of a bass boat. I would say it's a couple steps up from that, of course, from like your traditional, but it is it's like that entry level boat. I think that the VLS is just under 70. This boat, you know, runs, depending on how you rig it out, of course, you can run it up there, I'm sure, expensive as all get out, depending on how many grass. I mean, listen, when you put $4,000 grass, $5,000 grass, this many, this, that, it gets expensive, but it is a way more affordable boat in the Ikon family, still being in the Ikon family. If you guys haven't checked out the Ikon contingency program, you got to do that. It is one of the best paying contingency programs on the market. So if you're big on contingency programs and you want to win a little bit extra money, check that out as well. Let's go take this thing for a ride, see what she's got. She's fully loaded, ready to rock. We got Nick in here, camera equipment. Let us see what we get out of her. You know, of course there's stuff to be tweaked, but we're gonna see if we can't get we'll see the boat run. We'll see what it runs. So this being the electronic shifter, the cool thing about this guy is all I have to do is press select. Right now it's on hot foot, so but now I hit select and now it's throttle, it's gear is shifted to being throttle, ready to roll. So then I just swap him back, take him on, pop him off select, put them life jackets on, zip him up, and now I'm back to hot foot. Okay, let's see what we got. We're gonna take a run. Nick, you know where your handle is. Good to go. It's not too bad out there. Let's see what we got here. Wow, that's fun. So first little ride right there, right around 67. Quick little guy. Runs around, solid, fast enough for me. Fast enough for me. So it's probably a mid-60s boat. Overall, ride's really good. I think the biggest thing is for me, I've always said this, I'd much rather take a good ride, a dry ride, good steering, than going 75 miles an hour. I've never caught one bass going 60 miles an hour, and I'm in the business of catching bass. So, and comfortability and enjoying all those things and not getting wet from spray on the water. I mean, those are all good things to not want to do. So anyway, cool so far. Overall, I'm running that 26 Scorpion on there. Could tweak around with props and see if I wanted to, but and I mean, you know what's crazy is you could take a 16 off that front, pop that 16 off, you want to run it, it's crazy, you could probably get under a mile an hour. You take tackle out of the front, put it in the back, half mile an hour. It's however crazy you want to get with speed, you can. That's why I don't ever get into it, because it doesn't matter. It's all about catching them dang bass. That's just the facts. And y'all want to, hey, drop a comment below. Tell me if you ever caught a bass going 65 miles an hour. If you have, you're a bad dude. That's all I'm going to say. That being said, overall, really have been impressed with it. Of course, we're going to put this thing to the test, but I think you know what we should do, Nick? I think we got to catch a bass. We're in a bass boat. We're in the 20 VLX with a Suzuki on him, ready to roll. I think we need to catch one bass to like close this video. What do you guys think? I think it should happen. I think so. Nick says so, I say so. Let's try to catch one. We might cut this whole thing out if we don't get a bite. We might, but we're gonna catch one at least. Okay, one bass. Let's get a fishing rod out. Get a fishing rod out. I've been messing around with the this new Cast King Mega Jaws. He's actually been pretty sweet. Messing around with some new prototype braid from Suffix too. That's good stuff too. But always got to tinker. You guys, look. The only way I know how to keep pushing to make new products and do all that stuff is to play with stuff, right? So that's why in the off season I spend a lot of time like tinkering with baits and stuff. And that's what I was doing. So let's go ahead and grab a couple different things. 5 1/4 freeloader, 6 1/4 freeloader. New. Hold on, let me get this guy. Got my tails kinked. That's why you don't always put them in the pack. Keep them in your pack. So 5 1/4, 6 1/4. We're gonna throw the 5 1/4. A 6 1/4. I mean, you think we should throw a 6 1/4?
5 1/4.
I can bet you could smash my 6 1/4 though. So we'll just do a 5 1/4. Coming out here very soon, shad. Really my new favorite color, straight up, electric shad. That's my new favorite color, for real, for real. I'm gonna put electric shad on. That is my new favorite color for sure. Shad's really high up there though. He's got a real dark, like gray back. Throwing a 5/16. Oh, it's over. It's over. Oh yeah, over. Over. Check my name, drag. Fire it out there. Let's hope a bass bites it. Freaking sucker. Sucker, come off. Come on, man. There's one. What we got here? Looks like a decent one. I don't know, boys. Good. Bo might be lucky. Bo might be lucky. Okay. Come here, buddy. Look at that. All right. First fish on camera in the 20 VLX. Little got him in that tongue. I want to make sure he gets back down there. So that fish I hooked in the tongue, he was bleeding a little bit, so I want to make sure I get him down there. A lot of times getting that fish back down there in the water, back out there, he's good to go. So that's it right there. So you guys got to see the full breakdown of the boat. You got to see us catch a fish. We had a little goods in there. Hey, Alicia has I got some work to do tonight. I'm supposed to cook some grouper, so I'm about to leave you guys right here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the new tour of the boat. I'm excited about it. Excited about the tournament's coming up. I might even make one more cast and try to catch one. Let me naked throw out there, but I'm sure I'm on a time clock for dinner, 6:24. Kiddos go to bed about 8. But anyway, appreciate you all following along. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about the new rig. I'm loving it so far. Hopefully you're bass fishing in the month of October. It is still pretty good bass fishing. So get out there, go fishing. See y'all next one.